Hey people, Damon here, and today I am reviewing Amphibia Season 3, Episode 18. And this is the final episode of Amphibia. Okay, this is the season finale, the series finale, and it was pretty good. It wasn't horrible, it wasn't the best, but it was pretty good nonetheless. Okay, let's get into this, shall we? Let's do non-spoiler first, obviously. So, non-spoiler first, it was good. The animation, the acting, voice acting, great. The ending, a little bit lackluster, but we'll get into that in the spoilers. There was a few things that were a little bit lackluster, but we'll get into those in the spoilers. But all in all, very good episode, very good send-off. I just wish it was a little bit better, but I guess you get what you get. But it was still very, very good. Anyways, let's get into spoilers. Spoiler alert.
Just remind you to subscribe, hit that bell, like, comment, share this video, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok down below.
Spoilers. Okay, so basically, this starts off where it left off. The moon is coming down, it's crashing down. But it turns out that it's the hive mind thing that is bringing the moon down. So the only way they can stop it is by going up there themselves with their superpowers. And it kind of reminded me of some anime. It looks like a Powerpuff reference in there. Maybe Sailor Moon in there as well. It's pretty cool. Pretty interesting. So they go up there to stop it with their superpowers. Of course, they can't stop it. But there is a magical thing that the No Mother left out. Basically, it's a spell that can stop it, but it might unalive the user. So Anne knows about this, but the others don't. So they go up there to stop it. Anne uses this spell and she unfortunately passes away in the process. But then gets brought back by a cosmic entity that wants her to be its replacement. So that's a thing. And then she's basically back, and then she has enough power to get home. And then that's it. She goes home. We see a little time skip. We see a time skip in Amphibia, and then we see a time skip in the real world like 10 years later. It's ridiculous. And then it ends, and the story's ended. And it's interesting. Interesting to say the least. It's a little bit of a bittersweet ending, if you know what I mean. One of those little bittersweet endings. So let's get into the things I liked and I disliked. So I liked the whole ending part. I liked the whole ending series sort of thing. I liked it. It was interesting how the moon was coming down because of the evil helmet. I liked that part. I liked the whole power up scene and they go up there to fight it. It's pretty funny. One of the parts I did not really understand and didn't really like was the fact that they could have just went when they were trying to push it back, but obviously they couldn't. And they could have just went around to the backside and destroyed the engine, and destroyed the power source that was taking it down to Earth. I mean, taking it down to Amphibia, I should say. So I didn't like that fact because that was kind of dumb, I guess. But whatever, they didn't think about it. Instead, Anne ended up sacrificing her life to destroy the moon, which is another thing that should have caused major damage. Because a moon, at least our moon specifically, I'm talking about our moon, it has a major thing to do with the planet. Like it brings tides and stuff. It helps with the tides and stuff. So that's a thing that our moon does. So I'm assuming their moon does the same thing, but she destroys it. So it's gonna be messed up there a little bit. But whatever, I guess. Cartoon logic. We're going with cartoon logic. At the end, she dies. She passes away, I guess. But then a cosmic entity brings her back. I think that's pretty cool. I think it would have been more interesting if she stayed, passed away, but whatever. It's cool that a cosmic entity brought her back. Another thing I did not like is Andrews. He redeems himself a little bit, and then he gets to live. I don't know why he got to live. I thought I feel like he should have passed. I'm just saying. I feel like he should have passed. Just saying. Like, why do we need to see him as an old man doing farming? I'm just saying he should have just been. He should have kicked the bucket. But whatever. Um, let's see. The part where they leave, I thought was pretty cool, pretty emotional. The part where she dies was actually pretty emotional too, but I kind of figured that she was going to come back to life. It was quite blatantly obvious. And I thought for sure, this is one of the parts I did not like. I thought for sure that they were going to come back and visit each other. Sorry about that little cut there. Anyways, where was I at? Oh yeah, the going away, the whole thing about them going away, and the reason why I did not like this was mainly because they made a portal on Earth. So why wouldn't it be possible for her to come back? They made a portal that was possible to take energy from from electricity to get back. I know it was only open a little bit and they kind of destroyed it, but they could have remade it, obviously, very simply. And they could have made it more energy efficient, obviously. And there is places with massive amounts of energy that could make that portal work. But it's just never brought up again, I guess. So that's a thing. It's kind of it's kind of a waste of a thing that happened, you know? I feel like it should have been a thing where she could have opened the portal and brought back and came back. But it's kind of a waste. It never mentioned again. It just kind of disappears. I guess maybe the government confiscated it and that's it. That's final. But I don't know. I feel like they should have came back, but whatever, I guess. To each their own. Another thing I did not like, but I kind of like the end scene on Amphibia. I'm assuming that it's 10 years later because the human world was 10 years later. So I'm assuming this was also 10 years later. We got to see Polly all grown up. She looks kind of weird, but she looked interesting, I guess. She has an interesting little design. We get to see Spring. He looks almost like a teenager, but he's, I'm assuming, an adult. Or at least close to an adult. And we obviously got Hot Pop. He's with his girl. And Sprig has, what's her name? I forgot. Sprig and his girlfriend. But the thing I didn't like about that flash forward, why is Sprig so short? Sprig is still short compared to all the adults. Should he not be, like, borderline adult now, 10 years later? What was he, like, 12? So he should be, like, 22 or something like that? He should be, like, 22. Shouldn't he be, like, an adult? I'm just saying, kind of weird, but whatever. That he's not the same size as every other frog, and neither is his girlfriend. It's kind of, he's still very short. Do frogs hit adulthood at, like, a much later age? I don't understand how Amphibia works. It's very interesting, yet very weird. Anyways, they go off on a little adventure. They go to explore a new continent that hasn't been touched by toads, frogs, or newt. Very odd that exists when they've been so advanced for so many years, but whatever. So we get to see a nice little thing. I liked it, but I didn't like that one part. And then we go to Anne's perspective, and we get to see what she's doing. Basically, we get to see that that Marcy did move away. She came back 10 years later to see Sasha, and we get to see that Sasha and Anne actually moved apart during the years. That they kind of hung out, but then eventually during high school and stuff, they kind of moved apart with different friend groups. So that's a thing that does happen in reality, obviously. So that's pretty cool to see in this show. And then we get to see Anne as I forgot what it was, but she's basically like an expert on frogs, I guess. So she works at the at the like aquarium or something where frogs are. So that's a thing. That's a thing. Yeah, she's there. She's hanging out with Sprig the frog, his little tiny frog, and that's about it. And then she meets up with Sasha and them, and she goes on an adventure with them, or hangs out with them. Not adventure, I guess, but hangs out with them. So yeah, they meet up every 10 years, I guess. And another thing, if it was 10 years later in Amphibia, which it might not have been because they didn't specifically say how many years later it was, I'm assuming it had to be a few at least. But one more thing. If it was 10 years later, why did it take you 10 years to make a statue? Maybe it was only like a year or two later. I don't know. Maybe it was like a year, 2, 3 years later. Because they made a statue of Anne. I'm assuming they would have made that much sooner than 10 years. So maybe I was wrong and Sprig is still only a teenager. And it's totally different for the human time skip. It's 10 years in human year. I don't know. It's weird. Whatever. But yeah, all in all, I liked it. It was a good ending. I wish there was a little bit more in it, but it was good. I definitely wish that human portal came back, but whatever. At least we got to see a good conclusion to a pretty good series. All in all, it was good. And that's really all I can say. It was good. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, like, comment, subscribe, share, hit that bell notification. That's the best way to keep my channel. Link down below to my Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. And as always, my friends, stay sane. Peace.
Just remind you to subscribe, hit that bell, like, comment, and share this video. Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok down below.
Shadow, my baby, I love you so much. You're my baby. And you love to sleep in the bathtub. 'Cause you're a weirdo. Shadow, look over here, buddy. Look over here.